For more on day 2 of the Economic Freedom Fighters National People's Assembly, we speak to SABC News reporter Samkele Maseko, who's also stationed at the Nasrec Expo Centre. Good afternoon, or rather good evening, Samkele. Quite a lot coming out of that political report, 3.5 hours. A number of issues stated. One, with organisational redesign, we understand there's a possibility of moving away from the student command to the youth command. We also heard there might be a doing away with regional structures and having sub-regions. Talk us through some of this.
Indeed, Mvundo, there are those particular matters in the organizational redesign document and commission that will be deliberated, doing away with regions, having sub-regional structures, and also doing away with the student command, having a youth command. But I'm going to bring in Mr. Colin Sidibe, who is the provincial chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters in the province of the Rising Sun in Mpumalanga. Mr. Sidibe, looking at the political report of the president, touched a lot on the energy aspect of the country. You are a coal-producing province. You are basically where the electricity of this country is being generated from. From that particular report saying that there was sabotage at Eskom, what are some of the points that you as Mpumalanga contributed on especially around Eskom, sabotage at Eskom and parastatals? You used to be a government employee yourself, around the efficiency of the state as well.
Yeah, well, let's start with the coal factor in the area of Malahleni and Middelburg. It's true that there's been a sabotage because we didn't support the demotion of the power stations. As you all know, that majority of the power stations are there in Mpumalanga. One, because it will create a lot of unemployment. Though we support an alternative energy source, but demolition or decommissioning in the beginning. The collapse of parastatals, it's a man-made thing, deliberately by the leadership of the ruling party, because they wanted to benefit and privatize those parastatals or state-owned institutions like Eskom, like SAA. As you see, all of them have collapsed, Transnet and so forth. And it's only the EFF that can save them through competent employees or leadership in those institutions.
When you look at the political report, it also questioned this black unity that is coming forth now through the leader of the newly formed party that's from KwaZulu-Natal and former president of the country, Julius Malema, cautioning against this so-called black unity that is opportunistic. What is your view as Mpumalanga, knowing the harm they also inflicted on you on the Mkondo areas in the particular province of Mpumalanga and also going up to your Witbank, Akaville areas?
Look, we don't have a problem with black unity, but not only limited to black unity. We need unity in diversity, black, white, colored, Indian, because that's how we must live going forward in this civilized world. So this idea by the MK party is opportunistic, and worse because they proposed the closure of the EFF. So that the MK party becomes the organization, the only organization that all black organizations should fall under. So we will not support that, because this organization was formed by the people, by domestic workers, by farm workers, petrol attendants, etc. And to them is their only hope and the only vehicle that can deliver economic freedom in their lifetime.
You support the collapse of regions into sub-regional structures and the conversion of the student command into a youth command?
Yes, I do support, because we have witnessed the weakness within the regional structures. They can't stretch to those regions altogether because they are vast and so forth. So it's part of our organizational renewal and redesign that we compress the leadership directly to the branches, and it will be easy to work with sub-region because they are close to the branches, and the branches are the basic unit of the organization. So it will give us an opportunity to have proper activities and a real vibrant living organization in those branches.
Easy to have command and control?
Not precisely, but what we need is a proper viable EFF in all the branches.
Thank you very much, Mr. Colin Sidibe. That is the Mpumalanga Provincial Chairperson of the EFF, Mr. Colin Sidibe. I'm going to bring in a consultant. Monsieur Logazi, your view of the EFF's political report, Julius Malema, did it live up to expectations of a party that's in a battle and fighting against an onslaught of the MK party?
Well, definitely didn't anticipate that it's going to be 4 hours, like 3 hours, 30 minutes. It was quite long. But in terms of content, he tried to address everything, right? He tried to actually conscientize his membership about the problems that they're having. He did also backlash to other parties to saying that we can't just unite because for your convenience. We are going to unite because black people need us. So it's quite important that the membership actually take into cognizance what he has been reporting. Because this political report is not only about the EFF, but the EFF impact in society, in parliament, and so on and so forth. So I think the membership itself might have gotten something. And then we're going to see if they're going to rebuild from here.
When you look at that political report, did it espouse of a political organization that is ready to fight against its political detractors, or was it subdued? Was it not your usual fiery speeches of an EFF leader?
Well, it was not fiery because it was not the usual Julius. He was not as vibrant. However, in terms of the content itself, it did actually give out signals that we are going to keep the round running, and we are going to actually come to for our counterparts. I'm sure he did also mention about the fact that MK is opponent of EFF. They are not willing to actually make peace maybe with the MK. They are going to actually ensure that EFF is rebuilt and EFF is advanced.
Looking at the organizational redesign, their policy documents, do you see them coming out of this National People's Assembly with a concrete strategy and tactics document and plan of action to revive the structures of the EFF and be able to garner those lost votes in these past elections?
And that's going to depend on the commissions. Right? Tomorrow they will have the elections, then they'll have commissions. So what comes out of the commissions and actually the electorate and the results of the elections? Because if some people are disgruntled, chances are they'll also leave the party. And also if the party does not necessarily have solid policy and also policy direction, how we rebuild and how we advance the organization, nothing is going to happen. They need to solidify, consolidate numbers, go back to the ground, and also ensure that the party itself changes the leadership style, because everyone else who's leaving the organization, they're complaining that there is no democracy in the organization. We don't have a room to ventilate our grievances. So it's important that they change the way they do things, but also they rebuild the organization.
How are they going to change how they do things in the organization when they are collapsing regions and having sub-regional committees as opposed to regions, and having a provincial command that will oversee the entire province, basically doing what the ANC did with Bushabelo and Nkangala in Mpumalanga, creating regions in a region?
Yes, so this is a strategy of theirs, and they assume that it's going to work, right? And I believe that if they put the right practice to pass, they're going to win it. Because imagine if they see the regions are not working, why should they continue with them? So the sub-regions, as long as they have proper measures of channels where they need to communicate and do the work, councillors must do the work, ground forces must do the work, and then the organization will be revamped if they do the work.
There's a party tomorrow after the commissions, by the way. The stadium, a stage is being set up on the stadium on the opposite side. So it's not just only a conference, it's also a party.
It's good. Black people must be happy. Thank you so much.
Well, that is a consultant speaking on this particular leadership conference of the Economic Freedom Fighters that will deliberate on the organizational redesign and renewal of the Economic Freedom Fighters, doing away with regions, having sub-regional structures, converting the EFF Student Command into a youth command, a debate that Sihle Lonzi says he is going to fight with tooth and nail in the commissions against that particular proposal. It has been rejected by about 5 provinces to protect the Student Command. One wonders if it will see the day of light.
Of course, Sihle Lonzi being the leader of the Student Command. Samkele, thank you very much for that update. That's SABC News reporter Samkele Maseko, who's coming to us live from the Nasrec Expo Center at Stage 2 of the EFF's National People's Assembly.